Okay, here we are at the end of this particular portion of the Making Custom Watch Dial series, part 7, and I'm going to show you the final product. It is a beautiful watch. I am happy with it. I'm really glad with how it looks and it all turned out. Can't wait to show it to you. Again, if you want to see the sort of the textual walkthrough, everything from my initial sketches and drawings, my 3D printed design for the dial blanks, I'm going to have a blog post on watchcomplications.com that will visually take you through and textually take you through this process. Of course, the video series has showed you the printing and everything, but from the conceptual stage of working with a client to create a custom watch all the way to the end in the final product, I'm going to put a blog post up that kind of walks through that entire process. So watch for that on my website, watchcomplications.com. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and there will be more videos in this series. But let me show you this final product first. Okay, so here is the final product, and this is actually really light. This is a nice high quality stainless steel case. It's got sapphire glass. You can see here is the movement. This is an ETA 2893-2. It is a GMT movement. It is a nice high quality Swiss movement. Again, the case is nice stainless steel. It's got 100 meters of water resistance, so nice case. And then this is what the final product looks like with the dial inside of the case. You can see it's quite beautiful, at least in my opinion. Of course, it's beautiful. I made it. The customer, so I'm going to like it. The customer is quite happy with the look as well. And this still has the plastic on it. Okay, so I'm going to take the plastic off of this real quick just so you can see the dial with a little bit more clarity. What it looks like. Set that down. And here you can now see probably the texture on the dial, which is quite beautiful. You can see that the hands that I put on this, the GMT hand is a blue, as is the small second hand. And this was just sort of the design that I came up with for the client, as you'll see in the blog post, is wanted blue hands to of course match the blue numerals to a certain extent, you know, just a nice blue shimmer every once in a while, which you can kind of see as it hits the light in different ways. I wanted a different look for the seconds on this one. Usually your seconds hand is one of the longest, and if not the longest. Sometimes it's a little bit different on a GMT, but I wanted a short, small, well, typically you would have the size of a hand on a small second sub-dial, but I thought it would look unique to do it this way for this particular watch. So that's blue, the GMT hand is blue, and then we've got some black hands for the hour and the minute, and these are loomed. Again, I'll show pictures of the loom lit up on the pictures on the website, but you can see that this has turned out pretty well for a custom one-off watch dial for one of my customers. So this is a fairly expensive build for several reasons, just because the movement alone is fairly expensive. This is an ETA 2893, so it's an expensive movement in there. The case is a nice quality case, so it's fairly expensive, and then a couple nice straps to go with it. I've got this on black currently. I've also got a couple blue straps that this will look good on, and usually I'll let my customers choose a couple straps to go with it. And then, of course, everything from the custom dial to custom logo, printing, and all that goes into that and the time. This ends up being a fairly higher cost build, but at the end of the day, still not too bad. So there'll be more detail about that on my blog post related to this particular build. But I think it is truly an excellent, beautiful looking watch. I'm very happy with how it came out, and now hopefully you can get a better sense, a better idea of what the final goal was for this watch that you've sort of followed through and watched with me on this series, and how to go about making a custom watch dial. It's beautiful. I love it. And the customer is going to be thrilled with this design. Well, there we go. This particular watch is done. This is not the end of this series. Like I said in my last video, I will keep adding to this series as I work on other projects that bring in other aspects of dial making that I haven't explicitly really covered yet. For example, my next project has some lume on the dial. So there'll be other videos where I talk about other things like putting lume on a dial, so on and so forth. But I hope you've found this series helpful so far. I really want to thank my subscribers for sticking with me, watching the series, liking the videos. Always feel free to ask me anything you want in the comment section on any of these videos. I'm going to respond. I'm happy to respond. And hopefully this will give you some sort of guidance. The reason for me doing this series is to help you if you have the desire at some point to get into creating custom watches or tinkering around with them, and this will hopefully give you some guidance in that area. So I hope that you have found this video series useful so far. I'm Brian from Watch Complications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the channel.